How could such a bug have arisen in the system? The guy thought about how to fill his stomach, but it was more important to find ways to expand the sphere. He knew that if he recklessly left the protective sphere and tried to destroy the demons, he would face untold difficulties and risk to his life. Suddenly, a girl appeared in front of him, as if from heaven, and a man was chasing her. They discussed something, but the guy was annoyed that they visited his uncle's temple, and he asked them to pay for their appearance. However, they didn't listen to him. The man cast his spell and cursed the guy's future lives so that he would be reborn as an animal and keep his mouth shut. However, the guy stopped this attack, which surprised the red-haired girl and the man. They wondered how he could do it. Isn't he immortal? Yes, that's right, immortal, the man thought. He has no reason to block his attack. He can figure it out even when the guy is evading him. It is impossible to hide from him. He has been fighting for several decades, killing a lot of people. Except in a situation for severe exhaustion, there's no other possibility. The guy said that if he could see him, he would kneel before him and submit. Zagoman's eyes rolled. He said he didn't care who he was. He will kill him and teach him a lesson. He lunged at him, stepped into protective sphere. The guy only said that his life and death depend entirely on him. Does he really think to go on the attack without a weapon? Thought the girl. A rank 3 magic weapon, incredibly sharp. An ordinary mortal, yet a bigger, dared to use his corporeal form, just found his own doom. Well, the guy only stated that it would not kill his stamina. He caught it with 2 fingers by the juice of machine's tail. He said to think carefully in the next life. A notification came that the master was destroying the triple sky with a golden core. He receives 500 orb value points. It seems that in addition to killing ghosts, killing monks and also earning orb points. For killing monks in the realm of the golden core, you can earn 500 points. What about the realm of the reborn soul, the realm of a god, of immortals on earth? The higher the rank of the monk, the more sphere points you can get. You can exchange the current 510 points of value for 500 points to expand the protective sphere. The guy ordered to use. The protective sphere has been expanded by 5 meters. The girl could not understand how the great elder of the evil Dragon Cave terrifying Golden Core realm had just been killed by an ordinary mortal, or this mortal is actually a talented craftsman who is hiding. The guy was very surprised when he found the storage ring. She did not have the necessary skill to open this ring. The girl reported to the elder that tonight on Mount Shivan the sky and the earth trembled. The sect suspects that a sacred treasure has descended to earth. Therefore, disciples of the Nine Ball sect were sent out to search. The rest of the Nine Balls sect members died at his hands. She thanked the elder for his noble rescue. If not for him, then the guy would definitely have caught her in the cave of the evil dragon. Li Xiao, who was the power of the Golden Core, was killed by the elder. Would Senior become a legendary master of the reborn soul realm? But in Yuzhou, for hundreds of years, there was no strong master of the resurgent soul realm. Will he become like this? She realized that he understands that she is the accomplice with a man with a scar. Whether it's possible to open the storage ring is dead, the guy thought. After Li Xiao died aptly, she disappeared, and this holding ring no longer belongs to him. Maybe you can open it. The guy thought he had something in him that he could use. The protective sphere is about to completely cover the sacred temple. In this case, you will have to think about ways to expand the protective sphere to the entire immortal world, to unite the entire world of the immortals. Then he can protect the old man. The girl fell at his feet and said that he saved her. This means that they are destined for each other by fate. She asked to be accepted as her student. When you think about it, he is completely zero in everything. Why can he teach her to play cards? She asked. He answered her that if she wants to learn from such a master who has gone through fire and water in this world, then what qualities does she have to be worthy to be his student? After passing the exam, the senior will give her the opportunity to train here, and a new bond was formed between master and student. Reward was 100 orb value points. She didn't know that master was given points for accepting a student. He found a new way to earn orb value points. He ordered her to take a bucket, take it outside and put it in the rain, wait until it was completely full to take a bath. Suddenly the girl saw purple energy in the forest and two green eyes. Outside was a golden tiger. The guy was glad that he came. He told her to go hunting with the tiger master. The tiger was attracted by the fragrant smell. Although the protections imposed by the old people periodically fail, the temple is sometimes able to maintain isolation from hostile creatures. Even he can do it. The defense can't contain the smell. Need to check this time. He's coming. After all, whatever the reaction was to his smell, it's quite possible that it was because he hadn't taken a bath for a long time, and the scent was noticed by a tiger who has a special sense of smell. "Why are you so hostile? Is it just because you are hungry?" said the guy. "What a pity, but you want to eat me. I will sacrifice myself." "But how did you do it without making a single move?" "Let me deal with him," said the master, and they began to fight. "That's right, it was the right choice to give in. You students and I need to be sure to hold on, master." The girl tried to use her skill, but she didn't succeed, and she handed over the sword to the master. He killed the golden tiger and got 800 orb value points. The girl was impressed by the master. He killed him with just one blow. "Kudaro, it's impossible," she exclaimed. "There is a notification that there are currently enough orb value points to upgrade the temple." The master threw the sword to the girl and said that she must deal with the body of the dead tiger. If she wants to learn how to kill, she must first learn how to cut meat. The system was successfully updated, and at that moment he has version 2.0. A feature of this new version is the ability to summon and control creatures on the temple grounds. The girl, at the request of the master, gave him the grass and was surprised by what she saw. The master, using ordinary grass, created a blue aura that changed color and turned into a fairy. Together they managed to create a creature. Then the master took the essence of life and said that the maiden must keep it. The master summoned a little fairy named Shay. The teacher thought that the master was very cool because he created a little fairy from some grass. Since the girl and master are linked by a student-master relationship, she is able to earn bonus points of the value of the sphere or reward for the master. The more connected students with the master, the greater the rewards in the future. In this case, he will be able to accept more students in the future to earn unlimited points. Isn't his responsibility to get points for the temple? Suddenly, something incredible happened. It seems that this is divine treasure that fell them from heaven. A huge black hole formed in the sky last night, and no one knows where it came from. The girl's father said that the divine sword fell out of her. The master took the sword and tried to repair it with the power of all beings. The sword became very beautiful and strong, but it was brittle and broke if too much force was used. For the master, the sword was useless, and he offered it to the girl if she was so interested. For her, the sword was very strong. However, even she didn't impress the master. He thought about how strong he himself was. With a light movement, the master repaired the temple and put it on order. He just sparkled. "That's better," said the master himself. "It's more suitable for high society guests." At the time, the little creature on the shoulder of the master had already fallen asleep. Apparently, it is still very weak, but because it has just been born, and suddenly Lin Bao appeared. In a whirlwind of events and mysterious circumstances where the lives of the members of the nine-ball group were still going on, Lord Li Batian, the guardian of the dragon's lair from the area of Imperial Klaosin, had risen. He wondered, where is the treasure that Liu Xiao undoubtedly took with him? The girl, overwhelmed with anxiety, exclaimed about the coming of their end, about the coming of the Dragon Lair Lord, but Li Xiao didn't appear. The remaining two were the only witness to the event. Could it be that they are the ones who took possession of the divine treasure in this corner where the spiritual aura is so strongly felt? Lord Li Batian himself wondered how such a thick sand of spirit power could form in these mountains. Perhaps this is the place where divine prey fell. The ghost sect master, after analyzing the situation, realized that these two were their problem, but who would have thought that these anonymous beings would also be here? The Lord of Heaven, offering his prayers, blessed the ghost sect, hoping that they would also have good luck today while hunting for a creature created from the transparent jewel of heaven. However, Li Batian, despite these words, came here first, believing that all the praise should belong to him. He addressed the man from the Dragon Lair clan, expressing his confidence in his world. In response, the master of the ghost offered him a battle because the killer loves such tests. The master finally said, "Wouldn't we like to speak to the owner of this place first before we are taking everything from here? Why did they dare to destroy the new dimension of his temple?" But Nord, the owner of this place, said that the temple belongs to him. Li Batian wondered, how can this person consider himself the owner of such place? The temple must belong to the Ghostborn sect. All this is a lack of respect, and the master penetrated his hint. They only came to give him points. However, they are not yet within Roma. The girl screamed out toward her master because Liu Xiao was one of the most terrible creatures on earth and died right in his arms. The Lord was amazed that he had killed Liu Xiao, but the ghost master was only slightly surprised at the sight of it. He didn't want the Lord to repeat his feat and asked why he was so frightened that he could not figure out the tricks of ordinary mortal people. The number of deaths that have been made does not reach 100. The Lord said loudly, "After all, they are just two guarding the whole temple." The Lord suggested that they give up the temple and let them leave, and shouted that this was a great option for them to join the battle. Now they have entered a new area. Last night, the girl, along with members of her group, was looking for divine weapons. However, he suddenly appeared and destroyed all her comrades. All this was the work of his hands. He was merciless. If the girl managed to defeat him alone, he would be dead, and she would humiliate him and betray him to the master to make a urinal out of him. But Master sent his power to her. The Master explained that the girl would not be able to defeat him since he was a practitioner in the golden core area. Therefore, he suppressed its cultivation until it was purified. Now the girl could handle him, but he declared that even her father couldn't kill him. He is the lord of the evil dragon slayer, even with suppressed cultivation. What of it? He is able to kill her even with his dimensional rings, using the divine sword. However, she overpowered the lord. The ghost master thought it was a terrible power, and it must have been a divine treasure that was in his hands. At the distance, he could easily kill Ling Bao and take the divine sword. She didn't even notice. If everything worked out, then their ghost sect would get everything. And the master almost forgot about the ghost master. If he moved a millimeter now, he would already be dead. Today he retreated. In any case, he now knew where the divine treasure was, but it was already too late, as the girl, the master's student, had killed 3 golden core cultivators and obtained 1,500 ore points. The girl asked what to do with people from the scent of ghosts, and can they be cut into pieces? Darkness tightly enveloped the temple, as if invisible threads of evil penetrated every stone. The ghost master stood in front of the sect leader, whose eyes radiated malice and hatred. He justified himself before the master, arguing that their sect had existed for decades and that they had always been decent people. Perhaps there was a misunderstanding with his students. He asked for their leaves. However, the ghost master could not forgive how this leader had invaded his temple. He remembered every word, every movement, and now with the one powerful hand gesture he punished the members of the sect. The leader dodged, trying to hide, but if he managed to escape, he will definitely tell about the divine treasure, and then the treasure hunters will fall upon this place. The strongest person in the ghost sect, the ancestor, had reached the nascent soul realm long ago. For him, conquering the world is no longer for a dream, but a task. He set himself the goal of finding the scared sword, but he had unfiltered from the upper world. Yesterday, the master of ghosts stated he knew where the sword was. The ancestor demanded an answer and was told that the sword was in the temple of the immortals. After improving his sphere, the master gained the ability to control all living things. His perception became sharper, but only within the sphere. Outside of her, he was an ordinary person, defenseless. But the girl, the master's student, still had a low level of cultivation. That's why the master decided to use her abilities. He summoned the girl and told her that he wanted to test her. In the bowls of the gloomy training hall, where shadows played on the walls, the cryptic words of the master were heard, addressed to a young girl whose eyes reflected the threat of power. The strange and bewitching words of the master sounded like a magic spell, captivating her imagination. "Buyer," master whispered, "I know a way to perfect your cultivation, but it will be a strange and painful path. However, you can use your skills. If you can endure this test, you will feel so wonderful that you will fly into the sky. I boldly ask if you are willing to try." A moment of indecision seized Buyer, but the threat for perfection was stronger. She repeated the words, "Improve cultivation," again, and the decision was made. She agreed to this difficult journey. The master warned her that in order to succeed, she must free her mind from all superfluous things, from all the fetters of doubt. Any carelessness can lead to death, especially if pair cultivation fails. But the time for reflection disappeared, and Buyer realized that there was no turning back. Thus began a strange and dangerous procedure. The pain pierced every cell of her body, and she fought the temptation to refuse. But she felt that overcoming the pain, she became stronger. She called to the heavens to keep herself at the edge of her possibilities. The master closely followed her every moment, directing the energy of his spirit into her body. He knew that concentration was necessary for success. Feel the flow of energy, he instructed. I direct it through my being, and it must become yours. And yet no results were seen. Baer groaned in agony. Her body seemed close to breaking point. She struggled with an overabundance of energy ready to explode her. However, there was no place for defeat in this story. Their experiment was a success. The girl endured the test and her cultivation reached new heights. This was just the beginning of her path to power, and she wondered how strong can a girl become if the master supports her abilities. The mysterious and dangerous possibilities that lay within this land seemed limitless, and Baer continued to explore her essence and power. Unexplored levels lay ahead, and she went to meet them with courage and determination that nothing could stop her on the path to perfection. In a whirlwind of unexpected events, where a thunderstorm rose over a mighty mountain, a great mystery was laid in the hearts of the master and buyer. The divine treasure over which this thread hung caused awe and horror. Imagine if it explodes, then death will overtake not only them but also this mountain, wiping it off the face of the earth. Meanwhile, examining of experiment, the master sent a stream of power and grief into Beer, hoping that she would be able to perceive and assimilate these new dimensions of her being. The city, shrouded in a thunderstorm, calmed down, but traces of grief remained. The magnitude of this stormy grief was simply amazing. How could it be lost just like that? Perhaps someone's spirit is hidden in this treasure, and someone like Bayer is able to detect it. An intriguing phenomenon led the master and Bayer to decide who or what might be the source of such a storm. A young girl with miraculous power, who is only 18 years old, could she have reached the level of skill? She became an object of curiosity, as her unique abilities arising from a divine treasure made her incomparably powerful. She has become the embodiment of the potential of the human race and its endless possibilities. The master, forgetting about his own ambitions for treasures, decided that he needed only one thing, an assistant who could break through to the top of cultivation. From the 6 steps, it has already risen to the 7th, creating a solid foundation for its development. Unusually talented, she was able to attract spheres and get 50 points. This is only a small part of her potential. Thus unfolded their story, where the world was fraught with secrets and the fate of the master and buyer intervened, promising an even more exciting future. Time will tell what treasure this young girl will possess and what she will be able to overcome as she finds her true strength in a universe full of mysteries and dangers. The owner of the powerful sphere began to receive many messages about a girl with a unique spiritual breath. Admiration knew no bounds. Her flawless and graceful body made her stand out from the rest, and she even survived a terrible thunderstorm. Her talent was so amazing that she became the object of envy. The owner understood that if he could raise such a student, then his value would exceed the most precious treasures. But a red-haired girl appeared on the way, ready to confront the whole world in order to protect Bayer. But the owner was not going to back down. He and his companions were firm in their decision. Since the girl was the key to their success, the battle began, and soon two other challengers tried to win her over with their unique cultivation methods and idle skills. In the meantime, when the passion subsided, Bar regained consciousness and the master learned that she had already broken through to the third stage of the golden era. He could not hide his admiration. It was a magnificent progress, and she was now worthy to become his student. He predicted that soon her talent would become invulnerable, and the nascent soul realm would be in his hands. She received an award, a mysterious ring that seemed familiar to her. This ring contained nearly half of the resources of the Nine-Ball sect, a priceless treasure. However, the master had questions about the reason why he couldn't cultivate fully. His realm was powerful, but now yet sufficient to expand to the entire mountain. This is why he needed Bayer. She was his key to gaining true omnipotence. But she turned out to be not just a resource, but a smart and insightful girl who was able to see through his true desire to become a monster, the personification of ruthless power. Toba, the firstborn demon king, introduced himself confident in the power of his lineage, and holding a green liquid created from the treasures of a great demon in his hands, he promised that if Bayer became his student, she would reach heights and others could not. He promised her eternal life through the divine fruit of Yas, which matures in 10,000 years. Toba claimed that there was no more powerful master in the world and tempted Bayer with treasures and incredible possibilities. He proudly declared that his world was unique and his offer was attractive, but doubt remained in the master's heart. Is it really a divine fruit? Could the old man they were talking about deceive him? At this time, another contender for the role of a master of Bayer appeared, a woman who is also in the sphere of the nascent soul. She promised her wealth and youth, becoming her daughter and giving her eternal glory. She invited Bayer to her place, but the girl boldly refused because she already had a master. She promised to follow him and didn't need her immortality restored. However, this refusal drew the ire of the other aspirants, who felt that it was impossible for an ordinary mortal to be an student in the Golden Core realm. They sneered at the master, accusing him of deceit and uselessness. Angry, they offered to kill the master and decide who would become the true master of Bayer. Thus unfolded the battle for the right to be the master of the girl, where passions and ambitions fought in the darkness of the unknown. The master, weighing all the risks, understood that his future as well as the future of his student depended on the outcome of this fight. In the midst of events and unpredictable twists of fate, the bull wanted to test the master. The master, without flinching, offered to show him the seven demonic king, whose heroic powerful status was surprising. God declared that one figure would be enough to crush the third demon into powder. The red-haired girl, who thought she was the most powerful, jumped at the chance to show off her skills in front of a female student. She attacked, but the master with only one finger countered her strengths, seemingly hurting her badly. The red-haired girl was surprised, realizing that the master was superior to her in every aspect. With the same success, the master eliminated all other applicants. Now Bayer realized that he was truly powerful, and these battles were just a way to test his strengths. She was convinced by his ability and was now ready to become his student. As an apology, the master gave them the divine fruits bestowed on him by his ancestors from his Golden Piton sector. His ancestor discovered them on the ancient Bronze Mountains hidden in the forbidden territory of Shanxi province already 3 years ago. These were unique fruits that no longer existed in the nether worlds. Then they were able to turn an ordinary body into an immortal one. Picking up a piece of divine fruit, the girl left it to the master, realizing its value and importance for improvement. They discussed that this rare treasure comes from the upper world and requires a special environment to grow it. The earth is no way suitable for such a thing, and the cultivation of a divine tree turned out to be no easy task. However, the master was able to plant a tree, although the fruit alone would not have been enough to make up for the damage they had done with their intrusion. Bar and her companions begged the master for mercy, admitting that they themselves were to blame for what had happened. They were unhumble and ready to accept his punishment. In response, the master suggested that they submit to him or perish. The bull was the first to recognize the master and was ready to serve him. The other two followed suit, realizing that they had to pay for their mistakes. Now they had to call him master and obey his will. However, the master was not cruel and promised that he would treat them well, even giving the green snake improved cultivation, even though it was already in perfection condition. The girl chuckled, remembering how the master had recently changed the fate of one person, and she considered it bold and incredible. However, now he dared to change 3 destinies at once. She understood that they would not have an easy but exciting and amazing fate under the guidance of the powerful master. The sorrow and deprivation caused by the deprivation of the wife of cultivation turned out to be unusually powerful, but the power of the thunderstorm Scorpio helped the hardened body. His wounds healed quickly, and he thanked the elder for such a gift. Now Bull was completely healthy. His wounds healed quickly, and he thanked the elder for such a gift. Now they had to use the talent stone to see how much stronger they would become. Cultivation levels from 1 to 9 were distinguished by colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, purple, black, and gold. The oxen were at the 8th level, but the master assured them that it was only the 8th level, and he would help them rise to the 9th. Bar was also offered to measure his strength with the help of a talent stone. The master used some power to elevate the 3 demon kings to the 8th level, but when he helped the girl, she passed very powerful cultivation, and he didn't restrict the flow of the energy. It was clear that the girl's level should definitely be the 9th, and she had a golden stone, which testified to this. However, when the golden glow appeared and then disappeared, questions arose. Even if it wasn't the 9th level, it shouldn't have disappeared so easily. This made me think that he and she girl levels could be higher than the 9th. The master couldn't identify it and was puzzled by it. Perhaps the girl became immortal by gaining an immortal level that was less than 9th, but at the same time possessing incredible power. It was a level above the 9th, and even the commandant couldn't determine it. They understood that this was a new level of possibilities, opening up unexplored horizons and limits before them. The master thought about the green serpent's suggestions to go to the mountain to catch the royal dragon turkey. The red-haired girl added that these turkeys have a special liver, and their meat is amazingly tasty and good for the body. He asked if it's safe, and the girl would like to go with him to see how much her strength had increased after becoming immortal with other people, and the master stayed at the temple. Returning to the master with the royal turkeys, they found a master from the ghost sect who demanded her sword from the girl. 3 of the 4 masters were at the level of the Nesad Soul realm, and the girl had no chance of winning. Her only way out was to try to escape. It turned out that just a few days ago it was only at the level of creating a foundation, and now it was already in the sphere of the golden core. This innate talent and its rapid development was simply frightening. With such strength and experience, she became a threat to the ghost sect, who couldn't let her live. The master of the ghost sect ordered to kill the girl and take the divine sword from her. But the girl was able to block his attack with her powers. She had almost no strength left, and she needed to return as quickly as possible. Now the fate of the girl and her master was on the verge of danger, and they faced a difficult decision: how to save themselves and protect their fate from a powerful threat that lurked in the shadows of the ghost sect. The dark night shrouded the mountains when suddenly the red-haired girl felt that Byra's breath was getting weaker and weaker. Perhaps she was hurt, the master thought, but why is he so worried? After all, she is in the realm of the golden core, and as long as she does not encounter monsters or cultivators above the Nesad Soul, everything should be fine. Knowing nothing what to do, the bull exchanged the embrassed glass with the master. Should he tell the green snake about what is happening? But the latter warned that it was not better to do this, given the strength of the master, who perhaps knows about the situation and specially tempers it. The bull was at loss, not knowing how to act. When they were almost at the house, a mysterious force suddenly fell upon the girl, capturing her under his possession. Now she was in her power, and even she didn't die, her life was no long. He ordered to take away the divine treasure and capture her soul in order to make her a transparent slave. Dark forces hang over them, and the fate of the girl and her body was in jeopardy. The forces of darkness were melting in a darkness, and they had to make a difficult choice: to fight for freedom and life or be captured by evil. The end of this mysterious and dangerous story was waiting to develop, when the thirst for adventure and magic will lead them to new and unknown worlds. The master was stunned and felt great anxiety for his student, who was lying in front of him. Her breathing was getting weaker. The master students, together with the red-haired girl, not wanted to watch their friend's life force leave, interceded for her, begging the master not to resist the test and not to take extreme measures. "Don't go too far. What's the challenge?" the master asked, feeling that something terrible had happened to Byra. The red-haired girl, although she didn't know what the master thought about this, felt that the decision was serious and decided to say that Byra was improving and would definitely become one of the best of her generation. Bull insisted that Byra was already on the verge between life and afterlife. For the master, she became a close person, and he didn't want something bad to happen to her. He ordered the students to return the girl in integrity and safety, and to kill the one who harmed her without mercy. The girl was badly injured, and she had to restrain herself from tension and conversations. The red-haired girl supported her heartbeat with demonic energy, but her soul was unstable. It was necessary to deliver it to the master as soon as possible so that he could help. However, the ghost sect master had deliberately cast a soul-devouring spell on her, and without it she would surely die. The green worm knew about such a spell, but he also heard that if person who cast it was killed, it would break on its own. Now the students and their master faced a difficult and dangerous task to find and stop the one who encroached on Bayer's life. Their adventure in this world full of secrets and dangers was just beginning, and they had to go through fire and water to save their friend and gain true strength and wisdom. Blaming himself for the fatal mistake, and master looked at the girl he had sent for the turkeys. He surmised that it was because his invulnerability sphere only protected his body, but prevented him from cultivating further. It made him feel like a turtle hidden in its shell, motionless and unable to do anything meaningful. But now is not the time for self-pity. He knew that he needed to expand his sphere of invulnerability in order to protect his loved ones. He had seen the horrors of the battle between nascent soul and knew that he could not afford to lose now. The ghost sect master had 3 high elders on his side, which helped him hold out for a while, but he knew that this would not solve his problems. And suddenly, as a sign of fate, the divine sword fell to the ground. It was a task for the ghost sect master to take it to the ancestor. The master realized that this might be his chance. He needed to accept this test and overcome all the difficulties in his path. He could not longer remain in the shell of his fears and limitations. This sword became a symbol of his determination. He had to become stronger and find his true purpose. Now the master faced a long and difficult path. He was ready to move forward, expand his sphere of invulnerability, overcome his weakness, and become more powerful. He was determined to restore justice and protect his loved ones so that they could live in safety and harmony. His adventure was just beginning, and he was ready to face the challenge of fate and discover new facets of his own potential. On the roof, the master saw a dramatic event and felt that something was wrong. The ghost sect master found himself in a predicament, not understanding how he ended up here, and not even feeling the master's breath. While the ghost/master was completing his next tactic, the master controlled the divine sword with willpower and even changed its shape. Seeing the Bias was in danger, the master decided not to wait, but immediately rushed to the rescue. A fire of determination and courage burned in his eyes. He slipped behind a huge boulder, sword in hand, ready for decisive action. Seeing Bear lying in the circle of fire, his heart sank with anxiety, but he was not going to give up. The master could control the divine sword with impeccable skill and change its shape at will. Such strength was extraordinary and even frightening for his opponent. The ghost sect master understood that he needed to act now and decided to try to escape. However, the master was resolute. He was not going to just let go of the one who touched his people. He spoke words full of confidence, saying that he would go to hell for his deeds. The fire of determination burned in the eyes of the master. He was ready to stand to the end and fight for those whom he loved and whom he was obliged to protect. The battle was inevitable, and both masters knew that the clash would be fierce. Lights of magical powers intervened on the roof, creating incredible and eerie pictures. Tension and anticipation permeated the air. The master could control the divine sword with his energy. Each of them was ready to go to the end for the sake of their goals, and this fight became a battle between two irreconcilable forces ready to sacrifice everything for the victory. The master held the girl in his arms, realizing that everything was over. They were in the arms of the frame of the elder, who with one powerful blow destroyed the body of the ghost sect master and freed his soul. Incredibly, the elder was able to capture the master's soul despite the fact that his body was destroyed. The ghost sect master's body was destroyed. His hundreds of years of stubborn cultivation and steadfast struggle were erased, but his soul remained. He became a vengeful spirit, and the desire of vengeance burned in his heart. However, the master had doubts. After all, the possessors of the body of eternity cannot be cultivated, so how is it possible? But despite this, he felt that he was somehow connected with these events. He was aware of his humanity, and this gave him hope for a chance in the future. The girl, whom the master held in his arm, was seriously injured. She swore that sooner or later she would end the ghost sect. The master understood that she needed help, and he promised her support and protection. Now it was important to stick together and support each other. The master understood that the world is full of danger and secrets, and only strong unity will help them overcome all trials. He was determined to help the girl fulfill her oath and overcome the obstacles that stood in the way of justice and peace. They became allies in this complex world where powerful forces intervened and secrets and mysteries were waiting to be solved. The students of the master of the sect Ghost were appeared and started a fight with the master, but he hadn't struggled to fight them and win. Only with one move he defeated the girl. Two others watched and they couldn't believe that he is so powerful, because in appearance he looked like ordinary mortal. The students of Master appeared and began a fight with students of Master of Sect Ghosts. One of them asked a Master if there really on his continent lived an demonic imperator. She hadn't heard about it earlier. 3 demonic kings by the most higher level, and one more boy whose cultivation they couldn't see. They didn't know what to do, and they would like to escape because they didn't have enough power to defeat the monster, but they couldn't leave the girl who was defeated by the master. Suddenly, a soul of Master of Ghost Sect appeared, and he explained the situation that the master destroyed his body, and now he asked about help to restore his soul. But they didn't be in a rush to help him. They felt that the body of immortality nearby. The master appeared and said that the body of immortality is here. Everyone has felt the smell of the body. By one hand, the master has defeated one who flew just upon him. He was stuck in the ground. His students were surprised. They couldn't believe that this angry, powerful boy is his master. A notification came with congratulations of killing the practice of fourth level with obtaining 1,200 value points. The master had encountered human weakness mixed with the temptations of cultivation, and this confused him greatly. The girl who was previously afraid of his power was now attracted to his humanity, and the master understood that this strange combination could lead to unpredictable consequences. Thoughts swirling in the girl's mind that this guy could be stronger than her, and this thought frightened her. Why didn't the master tell her about the real master? She asked herself questions and realized that she needed to quickly run away from all this. But the master didn't let her go. With a wave of his hand, he stopped her and seemed to do something to her. She couldn't understand what exactly had happened, but she felt that something had changed inside her. It turns out that he improved her cultivation, bringing her cultivation to a new level, and now she became stronger. The master's students watched this scene and they couldn't understand why he improved the girl's cultivation so much. But they thought that the master knows what he is doing. After all, such an approach with unusual method, boy defeated her. The girl, frightened by the excessive energy, asked him to stop, fearing that he might bring her to the level of a god. The master thought about the reasons for such an unusual reaction of his student. Perhaps it was because of the system or its own nature. In any case, he understood that he was now responsible for her future and cultivation. He had to be careful if he didn't want to exploit her. She asked him to not kill her, but she didn't believe him. And it was right because he was just helping with her cultivation. But actually, he tested this method. He would like to know until which level he could upgrade her power. This time it was not a storm. He thought that he was doing something wrong. But anyway, a notification came with congratulations of killing the practice of fourth level. Students of the master thought that they had a struggle to fight with the practice of fourth level, but master not only fight that progressed their cultivation and exploded them. The bull thought that maybe the master had an immortal status or higher. And another notification came with safety instruction. In future, master could use the force of storm for helping others to get better their cultivation, but after each use of this, it's necessary to wait 1 month. The new version was accurate for upgrade the sphere till third version. It's necessary 5,000